Hi guys, and welcome to this V480 review of Godox. So I'm a professional photographer from Germany, and I took this little thing and this little fella through a complete event photography shoot. So if you want to know if you can use this thing professionally and how it competes with the other flashes from Godox when it comes to speedlight, so this is the review for you. To be completely transparent, so this flash was sent to me by a distributor of Godox. So I was actually asked if I wanted to test some flashes, and they gave me some flashes to choose from. And this one was the one I was interested in the most because you've got the new menu and the new interface, plus some other features I'm coming to later in this video. And the good thing is, when somebody is sending you something, you can ask questions. Okay, so that was very, very valuable for me, and I was very interested in that too, because before it's very hard to get really good information if you're just pulling it from the website. And the interesting thing I'm coming to later in this video is because I've got the V1, I've got the TT685 Mark II, and if you've seen some of my videos, these are my main speedlights I'm using. And especially the TT685 Mark II is really the flash I grew with. I started with version 1. I started my professional photography with version 1, so I'm really related to these flashes. And now the interesting thing is this flash power is in the technical information is written as guide number, and these got 75 watt seconds. So I asked them what kind of watt seconds would this flash have, and it's about 55 watt seconds. These have 75 watt seconds. So at first glance, it looks like, this one is like 25%, 30% weaker. So can I use it professionally? The interesting thing is, if you followed my recent videos, like on the X3 trigger, etc., I'm very pleased where Godox is heading to at the moment, because they're increasing their quality, which, as I said before, is reliability in this case, plus some other items I'm coming to later in this video, which makes this small flash, which is very light, even better in event shoots compared to the V1 or the TT685. Simply because it's the more advanced flash with some new features. And it can be used professionally with the shadow of a doubt. I explain that later on in this video. So let's go over the flash. So it's a basic speedlight, all right? Okay, you've got these 120 degrees. You can move the head forward and backwards, and then the 300 and what is it? 330 degrees, I think, or 320 degrees. You can move the head in that direction. Pretty standard, nothing special at all. You also got these little accessories you can pull out, so like the reflecting card and a diffuser also. I'm using this white one sometimes. Really, it's very rare that I'm using it, and I've never used these kind of what is it, diffuser plastic over there. Then it's also a metal hot shoe, which is basically the new standard of Godox. I really like it, and also the quick lock, I really like it. And what's coming to the visuals directly is that the interface, the user interface, is very tidied. It's really clean and tidied up. Okay, you've got two buttons left and right, then one in the center, plus the wheel. And I actually always talked about the wheel not being the best quality, but this one has got really an upgrade. It's very nice to use, so I really like that. It's working pretty well. The user interface, the graphical user interface, I will explain later. But this is basically the flash. The battery is a new one, so I haven't seen that before, right? So it's a new type, and you can actually charge it via USB-C over here. And the USB-C port you can see here on that side is just for software upgrades, so you can't keep the battery in the flash and charge it. You really have to take the battery out and charge the battery. via USB-C, which is fine. Okay, so nothing complicated or nothing special about that. What you can see over here, that's a modeling light, and I'm not using modeling lights that often. To have this on a speed light, especially in this area, so when it's shining really right straight forward, is really great, because for the autofocus working, so when it's getting too dark for the autofocus and you are still shooting the flash into the ceiling, the modeling light staying on front so it can illuminate your subject so your autofocus is working. It's pretty nice, and that's basically all I can say to the build. It's a little bit smaller than the TT685 Mark II, as you can see here, and it's of course lighter, which is pretty nice on the camera. So with these flashes, the camera, if you have it attached, it feels really a little bit more top heavy. So I'm now coming to the menu. So switching this flash on is like the new standard with Godox. You've seen on the 8100, for example, you press long as there's a long press, and then you turn the wheel. And it's not as quick as having a switch like this hardware switch on the TT685 or other older flashes, but that's a new way. It's okay. And what I like about the user interface is that you don't have to learn it really. You just have to remember that you've got your working display, which displays always the information of the that's according to the mode you are in. So at the moment I'm in the standard speedlight mode. So if it would be attached on the camera, then if you swipe to the side, you're getting these different mode buttons. Yeah, like I'm in the speedlight mode at the moment. In the middle is, what is it? It's the sender mode, because you've got also the trigger system built in, like with the other flashes too, but it's the new version. And also receiver, so when it's in slave mode. And depending on which mode you are in, the main display changes. So when I'm now going to the sender mode or the master, as you can see, you've got your trigger display, basically displaying all the groups, etc., etc. You can switch. The top entry is the switch, the flash itself. So if you want the flash also to flash when you're shooting and using it as a trigger, you have to switch it on. Otherwise, you can switch it off, so it can work purely as remote control of the other flashes and not firing any flashes by itself. And of course, you've got the slave mode. The slave mode is not working when it's attached to the camera, which makes sense. Then you've got your menu below, like all the standard entries you've got. There's one funny entry on the Sony versions. So that's the one that's called new agreement, on or off. I think it would be better to translate it as new protocol, like it's from the computer engineering. So protocol means the protocol the flash is using to talk to your Sony camera when it comes to TTL. Because I experienced, from my perspective, the TTL is working much better with this flash. What I tend to do, or I always did with the V1 or the TT685 Mark II, is to dial down when I'm in TTL mode, like minus 0.3 or 0.7, because the highlights were always a little bit hot, and the output of this flash is really nice when it comes to TTL. So I shot just some test photos and they came out perfectly, really nice. So from my gut feeling, the TTL performance is much better. So, but coming back to the menu, you can swipe either with your fingers, or you can also use this button here to switch between the mode and the home button, or home screen, or work screen. And then if you swipe down, you are getting all these toggles like high speed sync, photocell, beep on and off, lock. Also you can also switch on the modeling light over here and control the brightness of the modeling light. So what I mean with that, you don't have to learn this menu. You just have to understand that you've got your working display. If you swipe to the right, you're getting all the modes and the menu. If you swipe down, you're getting all the toggles. And that's very, very easy to use compared to this interface from the older versions. You've got a lot of buttons, and there are also a lot of soft buttons, which means that depending on which mode the switch is in, they will change. And I'm not shooting events very often. Okay, so my main focus is on studio work. And the issue always was, so I'm on the event shoot, I've got all these buttons and I tend to forget a lot. Okay, so I had to relearn this flash on every event shoot I'm doing. So when it's coming like every 6 or 8 weeks. With this one, it's straightforward. Okay, that's a big, huge advantage. So the menu, I really love it. There is just one disadvantage when I did this event shoot. So I like to be able to switch the flash on and off very quickly. Why? Because in some situations, if I like the light, it might not make sense to use the flash. I just switch it off and shoot without it. And switching on and off this flash it simply takes a longer time. So you do a long press, it goes off, and then you do a long press again and switch it on. Takes a little bit longer. I'm not sure if it would have been possible. So like you see down here, that's the switch for manual mode and TTL. If it would be possible to have like 3 modes like you also got on the X3, like manual, TTL and off, it has to be communicated to the camera, because the camera also has to understand when I'm firing now, there is no flash. So I'm not sure if this is working. And otherwise I would have to live with the on and off switch as it is. Another thing down here, you've got the zoom settings. So standard one, like different zooms you can set it to, and also auto, working pretty fine. So that's the standard stuff. That's all about the menu, and for me it's a really, really nice interface. So now coming to the battery life. So in the technical data, it's defined as 500 shots at full power. So the event I was shooting, I took about 900 images with flash, and 30% of these images I shot in HSS mode at a output power of like 1/4 and 1/4 plus 0.5 roundabout. And then the other 30% I shot in standard mode, so not in HSS, between 1/8 and 1/4. And then all the rest was something between 1/32 to 1/16. And after these 900 shots, the flash was still showing full power, which means like the icon over there, it has got 3 dots, so it was still showing 3 dots. I don't know if this is linear or if like the first dot takes, it's like 50% and then all the others share the last half, or if it's really linear, like 75%, 50%, 25%, I don't know. But based on my experience I've got with the 8200s, I'm pretty sure that this is also good for like 1500, 2000 flashes if you are in this range between 1/16, 1/8, etc. So battery life, I think, is very great. So per charge, what you are getting out. And the recycle times are fine, so I didn't experience any recycle time variances within these 900 shots. It's subjective, okay? I haven't tested it. I was just shooting this event. It was a corporate event, so not a lot of action, so I didn't have to wait for something happening on stage and then firing like a million shots. So it was standard business, and the recycle times were completely fine. So like even at 1/4, it was like click, beep, completely fine, okay? So battery life is great. I really can't say anything negative about that. One of the key features of this flash, what I really like and what I want to stress, is the performance concerning heat management. This makes the flash, because it's so advanced compared to these older flashes like the V1 and the TT685 Mark II, that the disadvantages it might have towards these other flashes, like having only 55 watt seconds, etc., it completely gets out of the way simply because of the heat management. As a comparison, the TT685 Mark I and Mark II, when shooting HSS, you're getting like 20 flashes in a very quick cadence. So like if you're shooting these 20 flashes in 1 or 2 minutes, they're going into safe mode, and they really need like 10-15 seconds to recycle. From my experiences, they are completely gone. I never, after having experienced that once, used these flashes in HSS on an event. Never. I always used a ND filter on my camera to make sure I can keep them in standard mode. Because for me it was too dangerous. Like I'm doing 15-20 shots, this one goes into the safe mode, and I can't use it for 15-20 minutes, and it's on high heat level, so it was really very nervous getting like 5 or 6 more flashes in a short cadence, and then it's gone again. So I never did this. The event I was shooting, it was a corporate event on a rooftop, and the balcony was north-south, and it was in 1st of October. Sun went down 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and the balcony really, you had the sun always on the one side of the face, okay? So I used this flash also outside for illuminating or brightening up the darker side of these faces. And so the first 30% was like in the first 1.5, 2 hours, I shot 360 images, I think, with HSS only at this 1/4 of power. And it really worked well. It was strong enough, the illumination was great, and I was never nervous. So the quickest shots I had to do, there was something happening on stage, nothing special, just some talks. So and there were some politicians, etc., etc. So when they went on stage, I did some quick shots, like 5, 10, 15 shots, and then let them talk, because I got everything that was important. And I always did a test with the flash, like if it's getting hot, etc., etc., because I was still nervous, but it was working flawlessly. And this, as I said in the beginning, it's a huge advantage, because they kind of nearly tripled the amount of flashes you can get out of this one compared to these. So these are around, at the same power settings, around 20 or 30 flashes, and here you are at about 70 flashes you can put out before something is happening. I also did a test I will show you in a second. This means that even if this flash is 25% stronger, it's safe to increase the output power by half a stop or 1/3 of a stop of this flash. Recycle time is still fine. I tested this out, and you're not running in the trap of overheating. It's completely fine. So this in combination is really great, and that, from my perspective, it would have been more fair to compare this flash with the newest V1 version. I think that's the V100, also with the new interface, etc., etc. So like comparing these two doesn't make sense anymore because this one is so much advanced compared to these. The only thing you can't do with the standard adapter is to make a V1 out of the V480, because the head is much smaller and you can't screw this down enough. You have to put something in between. Okay, so then it's working. So I put this one on camera, and what I wanted to know, if I really stress it, how is the heat management kicking in? What's happening? And is the color temperature fine, or is the flash doing some funny things? Okay, so I put it on camera. I shot into my board. I set up a gray card there, and I really took one shot after another. As soon as the flash was recycled, I took the next shot, and then I compared afterwards if there were any variances in white balance or flash power output. So the camera was set to manual. I nailed the white balance at 5400, I think, and I kept shooting at half power. And what was happening, so around 65 shots taken, I experienced that the recycle time went a little bit slower. So from like 1 second, it was more like 2.5, 3 seconds. So there was some throttling as I experienced it. With the TT685 Mark II and the V1, there wouldn't be a throttling. It would go directly into this, I need 10 to 15 seconds to recycle. So it would have been unusable. So with this one, they are throttling it a bit, and I kept on shooting, and it was up to like around about 150 images taken when the icon popped up that it's in the overheated mode. And also the last images, they were overpowered. As you can see here, they were too bright. White balance nailed every time, so there was no difference between the images. So they were all within the variation they are giving. So I think it's plus minus 150 Kelvin, and we were much closer, like 30, 40, 50 Kelvin, and it was really great. So you can stress this thing, it will not let you down. Light quality is fine, which is really, really, really great. To sum it up, the major improvement of this flash for using it professionally is the heat management. So HSS is fine, you can't overheat it basically when you're doing standard events. That's really great. Second big advantage is the new menu system. It's straightforward, it's very easy to learn. You can have this flash 3 months not using, sitting somewhere on the bench, and then you have to use it again. You don't have to relearn the interface, you can use it straight ahead. It's really great. It's reliable, it's really working, it's straightforward. And the only events I can imagine where I might opt for the stronger version, the V100. So I'm not comparing it with these anymore, because this is now these are the old versions, the old flashes. Okay. So the V400 I would opt for if I would shoot something like a fashion show where you really have to pump out a lot of images in a short period of time, because there's a lot of stuff happening. So you can shoot at a lower output power, which puts you into the output power range where it's safe to shoot concerning overheating, plus the recycle times are even lower, which enables you to really get these shots done. So that's, for me at the moment, would be the reason to opt for a V100. For all the other events I'm doing, it's completely fine. And since it's smaller and it's not so top heavy on your camera, I really would opt for this one. So I really express my thanks to Godox for developing this one and producing it. It's a great flash. So that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and never forget to listen to more heavy metal.